r/AskReddit. What made the weird kid at your school weird? He walked around like Master Chief. Even teabagged the ground randomly, all while holding an invisible assault rifle. Did he walk like he was holding the assault rifle? Yes. All he needed was a costume. Well, he was just practicing for when the day comes. He always carried around a briefcase, but never opened it. Sat on the briefcase during lunch, classes, etc. It was like the nuclear football, always in his hand, or he was sitting on it. He carried it onto the stage during graduation, got his diploma. Right as he was leaving the stage, he opened it up and dumped a bunch of confetti on the principal. I guess it was the long con? No one questioned why he was carrying it on stage. Okay, if that was the real reason he brought it, that kid is epic. She wore long, multicolored, mismatched socks pulled up to her knees. She didn't so much as sit in chairs as she perched in them, knees to chest kind of thing. She dressed and looked like a boy at an all-girls school. She had that, I don't give a duck what you think of me, here let me prove it, by doing something really strange kind of attitude. Loud, kind of crazy, unashamedly loved anime and metal music, did the whole goth thing as best one could with a school uniform. Frequently reminded everyone at a Catholic school that she was atheist and proud of it, caused several fights between her and the theology teachers. Weird as shit, and one of my best friends. I think I'm seeing her on Sunday. Sounds like someone was watching way too much Death Note. He shit himself regularly, deliberately. Man, what a power move. I respect that. End any argument with this one neat trick. People hate him. He truly thought he was a dirt bike. He would run through the halls jumping off of lockers and make the shifting gears noises with his mouth. Absolute mad lad. Legit boss mentality. 100% alpha material right here. Lol, this was me and a couple friends in elementary. Ran around making car noises for a few weeks. Odd but funny in elementary school. Really odd and slightly worrisome in middle school. Super ducking odd but hilarious in high school. You'll have to ask his prison buddies what they think of it now. He was on a hair trigger, would snap and threaten people. Suspended multiple times. Two memorable incidents were when we freaked out at an art teacher, went to his locker, and came back with a bullwhip. He made that thing snap and sent everyone running. She barricaded herself in the supply room. Another time someone made the mistake of teasing him about something and everyone laughed, and he pulled a knife and screamed, "Who wants to be the first to die?" He was expelled, and I'm not sure what became of him. Imagine sitting in class thinking the weird kid is gonna retrieve his gun, but instead brings a ducking bullwhip. You went to school with Indiana Jones. He would have full conversations, arguments, and sometimes physical altercations with a brick column in the middle of the cafeteria. Who usually won? I don't think anyone won those. They usually made up though, as they would chat like normal the next day. That poor column was stuck in an abusive relationship for at least 4 years. There was a kid at my high school who never talked. It wasn't that he couldn't speak, or that he only spoke to his close friends, he just wouldn't speak to anyone. Teachers didn't call on him because they knew he didn't talk. When a substitute would come in and try to call on him, there was always some kid who would have to explain, "Ricky doesn't talk." If you asked him a question, he would just look at you. It was weird, and some people would take offense to his silence. But eventually everyone realized that was just his thing and rolled with it. The only time he spoke was when we had to present individually in class. On those days people would get really excited if they had a class with him, because hearing him talk was like seeing a unicorn. We had a guy like this. Didn't talk to anyone, starting in elementary school all the way through high school. A year or so after high school graduation, I was visiting some other friends, and it turns out he hangs out with them. He was now super talkative. Totally nice, friendly guy. It was kind of bizarre, almost uncomfortable at first, having a conversation with him after all these years. It was half like talking to a stranger, but at the same time, someone I'd known for a long time. I had always figured he had a speech impediment or something that he was shy about. Nope. Just didn't talk for 10 plus years. Weird. I didn't have any weird kids in school. Oh. Oh no. Yeah. As soon as I saw the question, I was disappointed I couldn't out the weird kid at my school. I was the weird kid at my school. He wrote his crush's name on the wall in the bathroom with his own shit. They caught him brown-handed. Also would freak out if someone said werewolf. He was always running around in the shape of a 8. If you just said hello to him, he started screeching and attacked you with his lunchbox, and once he ate a Kit Kat with the plastic. Heck, that makes the weird kid in my class look normal. He once ran into a random man at train station. The man wanted to help him get up, and he deadass put his school bag off, took his lunchbox out and smashed it into the man's face. She was afraid of cows, and if you said moo or mentioned cows, she'd freak out and attack you. I'll give it to her though, she'd even try to attack guys 3 times her size that were athletes. Sounds like she was milking it. Don't say that around her though. That joke was utterly terrible. There is a kid at my school, and he can't put his laptop down. Eating lunch on his laptop as soon as he finishes a test on his laptop. And we were all wondering what he could put his laptop down for. So one kid asked him. He was designing Minecraft skins and watching Minecraft videos. What a legend. A future CEO. His go-to excuse for not having homework finished was that he was traveling, even though he was at every class, and he never paid attention to anything but his fidget spinner, unless he was talking. The way he spoke, he knew everything there was about creative writing, yet his submissions consisted of plots ripped off directly from anime. This was in a college class. I don't think you understood him. When he said traveling, he meant through time. He keeps going back to the past, writing great stories to submit for class, and before he returns to the present he trips over an uneven brick and his original story flies out of his hand and is found by a Japanese man who turns it into an anime. Probably. Mustard boy. I'll never forget him. He would cover his lunch tray in mustard. Chicken nuggets. Mustard. Mexican pizza. Mustard. Breakfast for lunch? Mustard. It didn't matter what it was, he would drench it in mustard. He wasn't doing it just to make a mess of his lunch tray, he always finished his mustard food. He would talk to himself and sit in the hallways reciting as many digits of pi as he could. He was a small harmless kid that everyone treated well because he was endearingly weird, if that makes sense. Then he murdered a girl immediately after graduation and hid her body in his bathtub. They had us in the first half, not gonna lie. So this is Kid. Kid was that kid that ran to each class with a rolling backpack in tow. He was small, had glasses, and your cliche general high school target. I'm not sure if he ran between classes because he got bullied or what, but he must have. It got to the point where he was basically on the defense all the time. I had even tried to be friends with him at one point, just because he sat by me, and he just snapped back at me. He wanted no part. I honestly think he had trust issues, and I don't blame him. Because he would react, it kind of made him more of a target. I had seen him multiple times where someone stepped in front of him, or heckled him as he rushed along, kicked over the backpack, etc. It actually just sucked to see. You would stand up or say stop it, and it would just continue, and he almost seemed embarrassed that you did something about it for him. So anyway, senior year, we have a speech going to be made by the valedictorian, and then the school votes on someone to make a speech. Someone started telling people to vote for Kit as some ducked up joke. Kit won. I specifically remember my English teacher sitting us down and talking to the entire class. I think probably all the teachers went as a unified force in defense of him. They told us Kit had had a lot to deal with the last few years, and the people of this school voted for him basically as a cruel joke, but this could really be a defining moment for his high school career, and just begged us to let him have it. I think most of the people in the school weren't bullies, but all it would take is one person to ruin it. Day of graduation, Kit made a great speech. It was almost 15 years ago, so I'm sorry to say, I don't remember what he said. But the entire class, like 1,200 students, actually listened. At the end, we all cheered. Like crazy, cheered with standing applause. You could tell it was a good day for Kit. He was so happy, and maybe even relieved. Here's a kid who had been bullied for years, and is being cheered and supported by a crowd of 1,200 plus of his peers. No one should have gone through the bullying, and I'm sure he went up there with a lot of anxiety, but he certainly left the stage with a huge smile on his face. She wore bat ears and a black cape, and would scream her name while running down the hallway Goku style. Her name was Elizabeth, but she asked that she be called Lizard. Elizabeth. They would play tag and run around the cafeteria in high school, acted extremely childish, and had no manners. There were two of them. Half of me cringed from their doings, the other half envied their self-confidence and lack of care about what others thought. Pretty sure one was a furry. There was a girl in grade 5 that created her own language called Schmolby, and she'd sit in the corner and whisper to herself in it. People also used to tell her there were spiders on her hair and she'd get mad at them and scratch their faces. She purposely grew out the nails on her index, middle and ring fingers, and filed them into sharp claws. To be fair, telling someone who is clearly not completely all there that they've got spiders in their hair is probably not going to end well for you. She ended up leaving the school in grade 6. Aside from that, in grade 3 I microwaved a kid's winter boots in our lunchroom because I thought they were the reason he ran faster than me. I was just fat. That was why he was faster.